Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yashodananda Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Sudarshana. Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Patita Pavana Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Netai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Netai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Ashtotra Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Aravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Iskcon BBT Founder Acharya Savior of the whole world Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Ashtotra Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपिका श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की व्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की युगधर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to the Prabhupada ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Naiштики Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. We are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 11. Jadabharat instructs King Rahugana. Text 4. Yavan manorajasa purushasya Satvena va tamasa vanuruddham Cheto birakutu biratanoti Nirankusham kushalam chetaram va Yavan manorajasa purushasya Satvena va tamasa vanuruddham Cheto birakutu biratanoti Nirankusham kushalam chetaram va Yavan manorajasa purushasya सत्त्वेन वा तमसा वानुरुद्धं चेतोभिराकुतुभिरातनोति निरङ्कुशं कुशलं चेतरं वा. Mataji's. Word to word meaning. Yavat, as long as. Manaham, the mind. Rajasam, by the mode of passion. Purushasya, of the living entity. Satvena, by the mode of goodness. Va, or tamasa, by the mode of darkness. Va, or anuruddham, controlled. Cheto bihi, by the knowledge acquiring senses. Akutubihi, by the senses of action. Atanoti, expands. Nirankusham, independent like an elephant, not controlled by a trident. Kushalam, auspiciousness. Cha, also. Itaram, other than auspiciousness. There is sinful activities. Va, or. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. As long as the mind of living entity is contaminated by the three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, ignorance, his mind is exactly like an independent, uncontrolled elephant. It simply expands its jurisdiction of pious and impious activities by using the senses. The result is that living entity remains in the material world to enjoy and suffer pleasures and pains due to material activity. Purport. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said material pious and impious activities are both opposed to principle of devotional service. Devotional service means mukti, freedom from material entanglement. But pious and impious activities result in entanglement within the material world. If the mind is captivated by the pious and impious activities mentioned in the Vedas, one remains eternally in darkness. One cannot attain the absolute platform. To change the consciousness from ignorance to passion or from passion to goodness does not really solve the problem. As written in Bhagavad Gita, Sagunan Samati Taitan Brahma Bhoyaya Kalpate. One must come to the transcendental platform. Otherwise, life's mission is never fulfilled. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuhu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमा ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय श्री राधा मदन मोहन की जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की श्री गौर निताय की श्रील प्रभुपाद की Hare Krishna. So we heartily welcome all the devotees for today's Srimad Bhagavatam discussion, and I seek the blessings of all the devotees assembled and who are also watching online to speak something to glorify the path of devotional service and their lordships Sri Radha Madan Mohan. So here discussion is going on between Jadabharat and King Rahugana, wherein last chapter we find that when Jadabharat speaks some transcendental knowledge to when Jadabharat speaks to transcendental knowledge to King Rahugana, Rahugana was very much surprised that how come seemingly, apparently dirty looking or a madman like looking this palanquin bearer speaking such elevated spiritual knowledge. As soon as Rahugan hears that transcendent knowledge from one of his so-called servants, palanquin bearers, immediately gets down from his palanquin and offers full obeisances and seeks forgiveness. And then he inquires more from what Rahugana, from what Jadabharat spoke, that he had some questions to ask. And then he puts forward those questions in front of Jadabharat very humbly and submissively and requests Jadabharat to please answer these questions. And then this chapter, and of course coming chapters also, are nothing but further elaboration and discussion of what Jadabharat spoke to King Rahugan. So this is the common theme that goes on in Srimad Bhagavatam, where the speaker speaks something and gives some hint, and the audience is eager and sincere, then they come up with more questions, and then the speaker elaborates more. So one of the important qualities of the audience, of the hearer, of the disciple is to hear submissively and with eagerness. As Lord tells in Bhagavad Gita, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So pranipat means what? Submissively hearing. When submissively hears and is eager to hear, automatically he gets some questions. And then he has to put forward those questions in front of the spiritual master in a very humble way. And then the spiritual master answers the questions. And that's what is happening between Jadabharat and Rahugan. Rahugan gets some questions, he humbly puts forward in front of Jadabharat, and Jadabharat is explaining. And of course, this chapter begins with a verse similar to what Krishna told to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. Asochananva sochatvam pragnavadam shabashasi gata sona gata sumcha nanu sochanti pandita. So there Krishna used the word pandita. Here Jadabharat used the word kovida. That you are speaking as if you think you are like kovida, but you are a kovida. Your words seems to be like kovida, but they are all akovida. Akovida kovida vada vadan. Vadasyato nati vidam varishtaha. Because Rahugan, he gives very, what he thinks is so-called good example. He gives an analogy of when the pot is put on the fire, where the pot contains sweet rice, milk and rice. When the pot is getting burnt, and the rice also will get burnt, isn't it? So similarly, how one cannot be affected. When the body is affected, because soul is attached to body, soul also gets affected. So how it cannot be, how it is not affected? That he asks. Jada Bharat in the beginning only chastises. You are thinking that you give a nice analogy, but this analogy does not applicable to transcendental transcendental substances, and not at all applicable to liberated soul. Because for liberated soul, the body and the soul both are separated, just like a dry coconut. Dry coconut pulp is separated from the shell. Similarly, for liberated soul, Jivan Mukta, the external body is not at all in connection with the internal soul. So, in that, the soul is unaffected. So, like that, Jadavarat gives a mild chastisement to King Rohan. And then he starts explaining further that how, whatever questions he asked, he starts answering them. So, in the second verse, he tells that in Vedas in general, go to second verse. Let it be. Don't go. रुको 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 कैसे रुको ट्रांसलेशन रुको. So in second verse he tells the talks of the relationship between master, servant, subject, and king are all talks about material activities. People interested in material activities are expounded in Vedas are intent to perform material sacrifices and placing faith in their material activities. For such people, spiritual advancement is definitely not manifest, isn't it? So in general, in Vedas, you don't find discussion about transcendental subject matter, because they are all mostly dealing with what? Karmakanda activities. So they don't find much discussion about transcendental subject matters in the Vedas, isn't it? Connect this. So then second question is Vedas are filled with knowledge about living in this world, isn't it? So then Rahuga Bharat Maharaj Jara Bharat tells the discussion of absolute truth, which are devoid of violence and passion, do not generally arise in Vedic statements, because it's filled with predominantly knowledge about proliferation of householder sacrifices. So because of this, the discussion about the absolute truth does not arise much in Vedas. And then last verse which we discussed yesterday, then who is qualified to receive transcendental knowledge, absolute truth, and who is not qualified? Who is not qualified? That Jadabha tells in this verse. The man who by himself cannot understand the inferiority of householder life. Here householder life means basically what? Materialistic life, not grihastha life. Materialistic life. Why? Because materialistic happiness is like a dream. They cannot have access to Vedanta for understanding the highest truth, isn't it? So who can't understand absolute truth? One who cannot understand the inferiority of material happiness, which is like dream. So they cannot understand Vedanta. They cannot understand the absolute truth, all these statements. So then, if I will go and tell, Rahugana tells, I will go and tell about the transcendental knowledge. I will go and preach and know, enlighten them about transcendental knowledge. But Jadavara tells that also does not work. That's what he's telling in this verse. As long as a man's mind, any person's mind is affected by these three gunas. Yavan mano rajasa satvenava tamasa anuruddham. As long as living entity's mind is affected by these three gunas, sattva, raja, tama. Chetobir akutubir atanoti. Nirankusham. Nirankusham means what? Cannot be controlled, uncontrollable, like a mad elephant, isn't it? So the mind, which is like an uncontrolled mad elephant, he continues to engage that person in pious or impious activities. Kushalam means pious activities. Itaram means other than pious activities. That is impious activities, isn't it? So the uncontrolled mind, which is like a mad elephant, it's affected by three modes of material nature, isn't it? So it engages the person in pious and impious activities through Chetobir, Akutubir, through Karmendriyas or Jnanendriyas. Because of that, so even if you go and enlighten, but that person's mind is affected by three modes of material nature. These things will not. That's what it's telling in this verse. That's the Prabhupada is telling in the purport. Chaitanya Charitamrita said that material, pious, impious activities are both opposed to principle of devotional service. That Prabhupada is quoting from Chaitanya Charitamrita Antelila, where the discussion happens between Lord Chaitanya and Sanatana Goswami. When Sanatana Goswami's body is filled with so much of pus, and because of drinking some contaminated water, so Chaitanya Prabhu again and again comes to embrace Sanatana Goswami's body. Sanatana Goswami tries to avoid Lord Chaitanya because my body is contaminated. So then in that context, Chaitanya Prabhu quotes that shloka. This is a famous shloka. Dvaite Badra Badra Jnanam Sabha Manodharma Ei Bhala Ei Manda Ei Sabha Brahma. In the material world, conceptions of good and bad are all mental speculations. Therefore, saying this is good, this is bad is all a mistake. Krishna, Supreme God, is ever existing different varieties of energies. So, conceptions of good and bad are all imaginations or mental speculations. When one forgets the eternal servant of Krishna, he wants to enjoy material world through different plans. At that time, he distinguishes between material plans that are good and those that are bad. Actually, however, they are all false, isn't it? So in material world, anything not connected to Krishna, whether it is good or bad, because not connected to Krishna, it is bad only, isn't it? Otherwise, if the Krishna's aspect is not there, then we think this is good, this is bad. Some circumstances are favorable, some are unfavorable, isn't it? So he is good, he is bad. Everything centers around what is going to give me happiness, what is pleasing to my sense gratification. That is the center. And because that is the center, whether it is good or bad, both are ultimately bad only. Just like one Chinese story goes like this. A farmer, he was having one horse. Yes. And then after some time, he used to use the horse for plowing the field, doing many activities. One day the horse ran away. And people who came to know, around neighbors, they came and told, oh, horse ran away. Very bad fortune, misfortune it is. And the owner of that farm, the horse, he was a little bit enlightened. So he told, maybe good, maybe bad. Who knows? After some time, the horse which ran away brought few more horses. And all the other neighbors, oh, very nice, it brought so many horses. Very good, it's good fortune. And the farmer told, maybe good, maybe bad. Who knows? Yes. And so he had one son, the farmer had one son. So one day he took that one of the horses for riding. And while going, what happened? The horse, being a new horse, it threw him down. And that fellow broke his horse, broke his legs. And then when the neighbors came to know, they told, oh, the farmer's son broke his legs. Bad fortune. He tells, maybe good, maybe bad. Who knows? And after a few days, the army people came to recruit people for fighting. And when they found that this child, legs is broken, so they did not recruit him. They went away. And then the neighbors told, oh, such a good fortune it is. So maybe good, maybe bad. So in this way, in our whole situation, in our life also we see, maybe good, maybe bad. We don't know. But if you don't have the understanding of higher self, higher knowledge, then we go by what is pleasing to our sense gratification. To our sense gratification. If something is favorable or some situation is favorable, then we think that it is good for me. If somebody is pampering my false ego, he is very good friend of me. And some situation is unfavorable, or somebody is uh, disturbing my false ego is unfavorable. So based on all these things, it's all called manodharma, isn't it? Bhaktivinoda Thakur used to tell the analogy of a wet stool or dry stool, isn't it? So dry stool is laughing, wet stool is laughing at the dry stool. Oh, you are dry stool. Nobody will like you. But dry stool is thinking, just matter of time. You also see, you also going to become dry like. So in the similar way, so-called good situations, so-called bad situations, both are bad only if there is no connection to Krishna. So in this context only, Bhagavatam verse comes. This is 11.28.4. Anything not conceived in relationship to Krishna should be understood to be illusion. None of the illusions uttered by words or conceived in the mind are factual. Because illusion is not factual, there is no distinction between what we think is good and what we think is bad. When we speak of absolute truth, such speculations do not apply. So anything not conceived in relationship to Krishna should be understood to be illusion. Isn't it? So if any situation is taking us closer to Krishna, then the situation may be externally bad, but it is good because it is taking us closer to Krishna. And any situation, maybe it may be a very good situation, favorable situation, but taking us away from Krishna, then that is situation considered to be bad situation. Yes. So we find in the Srimad Bhagavatam so many stories. So-called misfortune came upon devotees, but they connected to Krishna, and that misfortune became good fortune. We find in the case of Vidura. In third canto, beginning first chapter only, we find how Duryodhana he exiles Vidura. He throws him out of the palace. Yes. But Vidura, being a great devotee of Krishna, he sees the hand of Krishna in that unfavorable situation also. He remembers Krishna and he takes that opportunity to go for pilgrimage, visits all the holy places in the country. And finally, he ends up on meeting Maitreya Muni in Haridwar. Of course, before Maitreya, he meets Uddhav also, who is the closest associate of Krishna in Dwarka. He gets association of Uddhav and then sits with Maitreya and has long and long transcendental discussion with Maitreya. Yes, and finally, he comes back and helps Dhritarashtra also to get unentangled. Yes. Because Dhritarashtra is connected to Krishna, he sees Krishna's hand in that so-called bad situation also. What is the result? The whole misfortune turned into good fortune. We also have examples where somebody got good fortune materially, but because they forgot Lord, that become danger for them. That become dangerous for them. We find in the case of Sugriva. Yes, so he was suffering before Wali chased him away. Then he was suffering like a lot of when Lord Ram killed Wali and enthroned Sugriva, so he got all access to all the opulences. And because of which, what happened? He forgot his promise to Lord Ram. He forgot Lord Ram and then completely got absorbed in sense gratification. Isn't it? Wine, woman, wealth, he got completely absorbed in that. Because of what? He forgot Lord Ram and his service to Lord Ram. So, what is favorable, what is unfavorable, what is fortune, what is unfortune, should not be decided based on material circumstances. Should be based on whether it is taking me closer to Krishna. In Iskcon also we find many sometimes some devotees who are empowered to do lot of book distribution or to do some management, open lot of temples and do wonderful management. Success come, but if they become proud of that and they don't see the hand of Krishna in that success, that same success can make them proud. The same pride can take them away from Krishna. So we have many examples in that case. So we have to be careful that success, yes, it's good. But if you don't see the hand of Krishna, the success can make one forgetful of Krishna and make one pride and take the same success can take him away from Krishna. Yes. And some devotee, leaves Krishna consciousness. And then Krishna will not keep quiet. He wants to bring the devotee back. Isn't it? He is having full health, enjoying sense gratification so nicely. But Krishna is feeling sad that this devotee is gone away from him. One time, one devotee, he left Krishna consciousness and then he was enjoying like anything in doing sense gratification. The devotees are worried. So they went and asked him, what it takes you to bring you back to Krishna consciousness? The devotee told, maybe I don't know. Maybe if I get cancer, I may take Krishna consciousness seriously. Krishna took that. Krishna heard that and then he sent him cancer, deadly cancer. And because deadly cancer, he could not enjoy any more sense gratification. So he has to come back. He came back running to association of devotees. Yes. And then he was sharing a lot of his realizations that I am the most happiest person because I cannot do any sense gratification. And what I left only with Krishna, chanting Hare Krishna and studying Prabhupada books. So yes, in this situation, he got cancer. Materially is the most unfortunate situation. And because that situation brought him back again to Krishna, closer to Krishna. That misfortune became great fortune. And eventually, remembering Krishna, remembering Prabhupada, he left his body. What a great fortune, isn't it? So, the situation has to be judged based on whether it takes me closer to Krishna or away from Krishna. We may be having materially very healthy body, sound mind, but with all these things, if you are not able to take shelter of Krishna, then it is unfavorable. But if you get some sickness, some misfortunate situation because of which we are remembering Krishna more, then it is very favorable situation. We find in the case of Dhruva, his stepmother spoke such harsh words to him. Yes, but really, no heartbreaking situation. But because of that situation, he came in contact with Narada Muni and eventually came to Bhakti and got darshan of Vishnu. That situation became most favorable situation for Dhruva. So that is the conclusion that the situation has to be judged based on whether taking me closer to Krishna or away from Krishna. If that is not the factor, Krishna is not the factor, then everything is manodharma. That's it. This is good, this is bad. This is nice, that is not nice. So this we have to understand. So that's what Prabhupada is saying also in purport. Devotional service means mukti, freedom from material entanglement. But pious and impious activities result in entanglement in the material world. So whether one does pious activities, one goes to Swargalokam. One does impious activities, one suffers either in this world or in hell. But whether one goes to Swargaloka or one remains in this planet, what is the difference about it? What is so great about it? Because both are in the material world only. Abrahma bhavana loka punaravartino arjuna dukkalayam asashvat. Whether one goes to Swargaloka or goes to hell, it's like no Swargaloka is like a wet stool. And either Bhumi, earth or hell is like dry stool. But both are stool only. This is what's so great about it. So one should not be captivated by the influence of or knowledge about pious activities. Because if you do this, you will get that. There are so many such recommendations given in scriptures. Basically, for what? To enjoy better sense gratification. Nothing beyond that. That's why they are both are entangling. But devotional service is mukti. So mukti means what? It helps you to go out of this material world and situates us in the process of pure devotional service. That's why the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam is what? From the beginning, it does not recommend any pious activities. Because even pious activity also going to entangle in the material world. So from the beginning only, Srimad Bhagavatam kicks away. This is called Kaitava Dharma. And Bhagavatam kicks away this Kaitava Dharma. Dharma projita. Kaitava atra paramo. Nirmatsaranam sata. Vedyam vastava matra vastu shivadam tapatrayon mulanam. So Srimad Bhagavatam kicks away this Kaitava Dharma. And recommends many times, again and again, the process of pure devotional service. because only pure devotional service can satisfy the self. Neither pious activities nor impious activities can satisfy the self. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radokshaje ahaytuki apratihata yatma suprasidati. Yatma suprasidati. Because when self is satisfied, the self engages in unmotivated, uninterrupted service to the Supreme Self, Dokshaja. Then only the self gets satisfied. Otherwise, impossible. And this engagement is called as Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotion service. Kicking out Dharma Projit, Kaitava Dharma. So that is the greatness of Bhagavatam. Because this week is dedicated for Bhadra Purnima. Yes, where Sukadeva Goswami spoke this Amalam Puranam to Parikshit Maharaj. In these 7 days, starting from yesterday till 7th Purnima. This Bhagavatam is going on, where Parikshit is sitting 5000 years back on the banks of Ganges, hearing attentively from Shukadeva Goswami. Yes, when fifth canto is going on, maybe it is maybe third day. Yes. So Bhagavatam kicks out. And people don't know the glories of this Bhagavatam. And that's why they are entangled in different pujas. Ganesh Puja, Navaratri is coming, Durga Puja becomes famous. All because, and what is the main purpose of all these pujas? Sense gratification. Nothing else. Want more. While doing Ganesh Puja also, they are doing sense gratification. And what they are asking from Ganesh also is more sense gratification. Nothing else. Yes. So it becomes each one of a responsibility to distribute this Srimad Bhagavatam so that people will understand that this the pious activities, impious activities, both are manodharma. Isn't it? So worship Ganesh out of love for Krishna. Worship Ganesh with respect to Krishna. Then Ganesh will become more happy. Otherwise, Ganesh is fearful to come to Ganesh Chaturthi. Hearing all the Bollywood music, all the Tollywood music, all the DJ. My God. So even demigods are suffering because of their devotees. But if we connect these people to Krishna, and when they worship the demigods with respect to Krishna, that makes demigods also most happy. Yes. So then they will not play any DJ music. Then we give them Prabhupada Dhun, then they will play Prabhupada Dhun. And when Prabhupada Dhun is played, Hare Krishna mantra, Ganesh will really start dancing. Along with the audience, he also start dancing for Hare Krishna mantra. Because it is very pleasing to Lord Ganesh. And if at all you want to please Lord Ganesh, so we have to spread this Bhagavatam knowledge. When people study this Bhagavatam, they understand that they're all manodharma. Let us connect to Krishna and let us play Hare Krishna Kirtan and please Ganesh. And they will offer Bhoga to Madan Mohan first and then offer that prasad to Ganesh. So in that way, even demigods will be happy if you preach this message of Srimad Bhagavatam. That becomes our response. Otherwise, as Jalabarthi is telling, it's all nothing but mad elephant. As long as one's mind is affected by the three modes of material nature, the mind remains Nirankusham, uncontrolled mad elephant. Isn't it? And mad elephant cannot be controlled. Similarly, the mind which is affected by three modes cannot be controlled. Sometimes Sattva-guna, sometimes Rajoguna, sometimes Tamoguna, goes on. Nothing else. Even Sattva-guna is also binding in material with knowledge and happiness. That also binding. Only when they study the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, they come in touch with Shuddha Sattva. So then with the Shuddha Sattva Guna, the mind can be controlled. Otherwise, impossible. Like we have one small clipping of how mad elephant is so uncontrolled.
It's so huge. Right there.
When you're hitting it. There you go. Walk closer. Set it in his nose. Some food. Okay, do it, Dave. In his nose. He's got a nose full of money. Okay, get under there. There you go. Okay, Rach, you're up. Yeah, nice. Another one.
He's strong, isn't he? Or she's strong. I could hear his trunk jingling.
Yeah, he's got a trunk full of change. There we go.
Okay, let's sit down to pass a picture and listen to music too.
I know. this one's time for you. Oh, I gotta do it. Look at how he's going on there. Oh, he's coming the other way. Oh.
Oh, hi, how are you?
Oh, this one's unbelievable.